Call to order the meeting of the Board of Trustees for February 26, 2013. There was an executive session, and there are no items to report on the executive session. Before we begin, I see that we have a few Boy Scouts in the audience. Would one of them please lead us in the flag salute?
That's right.
Here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Now, what troop are you with? Where? 140 Long Beach? Long Beach? Okay. Well, welcome to the Board of Trustees meeting. Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
President Uronga.
Here.
Vice President Kellogg.
Here.
Member Bowen.
Here.
Member Clark.
Here.
Member Otto.
Here.
Student Trustee Troya.
Here.
Okay, welcome and introductions.
Yes, we do have a couple of introductions. You already introduced our Boy Scouts from Troop 140. Welcome to our board meeting. And we have some retirees that we want to take a moment and recognize and honor this evening. First of all, although I don't think he's here this evening, John Doss, who is retiring. He is in music, radio, and television. He's an equipment technician. He served Long Beach City College since February 19th of 1980. Giving us over 33 years of service. So I just want to take a moment to thank him for his service on behalf of all of our students, our faculty, staff here at Long Beach City College, and wish him a very, very fruitful retirement. So if you all could join me in congratulating John Doss on his retirement. Next, we have someone who has served Long Beach City College for over 14 years and has really brought a certain character to this college. She is a very unique individual with a very interesting history if you've never sat down and talked to her. She brings a very wonderful perspective, one of the greatest work ethics I've seen at the college, and someone who is always reliable and someone we could always turn to support the mission of the college. She is currently the Dean of Business and Social Sciences, Ms. Laura Wan. She is leaving us as of June, and I think she's here this evening. Laura, are you here? Where are you, Laura? Come on up, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you, the board. Thank you, President Eloy. And thank you all, faculties, colleagues. And I'm honored to be able to serve Long Beach City College. And until the last day I received paycheck, I'm going to continue to work hard. I'm very grateful to the opportunities I have. And yes, our job is challenging, it's difficult, but compared with the experience I had in China before I immigrated here, it's much better. So that's why I'm always, positive, and I do my best to support our faculty and the staff, and I do my best and to implement board goals and president agenda. Do my best. Okay. Thank you. This is a great honor.
Yep, okay. Congratulations and enjoy your retirement. Okay, we have our next item is the approval of minutes of January 22nd and January 23rd.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, ordering of the agenda, we're going to move the agenda a little bit. We have some other guests here that I know we want to listen to right away. It's item 9.3, and that would be on the California Award for Employee of the Year, and 12.11, which is the Oversight Committee. So we'll move those to right before 1.1. Any other items that the board would like to see reordered at this point? Hearing none, we'll proceed. Okay, so let's go with 9.3.
Okay, Board President Uranga, this year the Board of Trustees has endorsed a classified individual for the California Community College's Board of Governors Classified Employee of the Year. And so we have a tremendous nominee who will be representing the college, and we hope that the Board of Governors will have the wisdom to give her the Classified Employee of the Year award. And I think she's here with us today. Rena Feng, she's the custodian. Rena, are you here? Please stand. So this is an action item. The Board of Trustees would need to take action in order for us to forward the nomination.
Move approval.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Congratulations, good luck. All right. Okay, 12.11, which is a report from our committee, Oversight Committee.
Yes, and for that item, I will turn it over to Vice President Gable.
Thank you. Yes, as required by Proposition 39, which established the measure that our bond program falls under, our Measure E 2008, we prepare an annual report each fiscal year, or each calendar year, actually. And so we have Mr. J.C. Squires, who is the chairperson of our Citizens Oversight Committee, here with us tonight that will present the annual report to the board.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and trustees. My name is J.C. Squires. I am the chair of the Oversight Committee and have been here for a very long time. I'm pleased to report this year and to provide you with a new format. Thank you to Anne Marie and her assistant Janet, who have done a great job in doing the research to assist us with this report. Our responsibility as the Oversight Committee is to oversee the expenditures and only those expenditures to make sure they're in compliance with bond covenants. I am happy to report once again that all expenditures were in compliance with bond covenants. In addition, there were no operational or compliance issues in this calendar year. I'd like to commend our management team at City College once again. Since 2001, this committee, this group has been very open to all suggestions with information to the Oversight Committee, which has made our job very, very easy. With that, that concludes my report, and I'll be happy to try to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, any comments, questions? Good report. From the board? Okay. Very thorough, very well done, very informative. And what I liked about the best is that you have our future construction projects in here, which is very good, and looking forward to those completion.
We're looking forward to the completion of this bond act. It's doing great things on the community.
Also looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we do a ribbon cutting tomorrow at the PCC campus for the AA and no, it's a DD and EE buildings tomorrow. So thank you very much, and certainly please express our gratitude to the rest of the committee members who work with you for the extraordinary job that they're doing on behalf of the college as well.
I will do that. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much, sir.
much.
Take care.
Thank you. Okay. Having
You have to
completed-
take action on that item.
Oh, sorry. We
Move approval.
have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Again, thank you very much for that report. Continuing with our agenda, item 1.1, the CHI LBCC initial bargaining proposals. This is a public hearing that we need to have at this time, so we're going to have the California state and regulations prescribe that the initial proposal of employee organizations be received during a meeting of the Board of Trustees. At this time, the public shall have an opportunity to express itself regarding the bargaining proposals as described in 5.5 and 5.6. This is a time set aside for the public to express its views on the CHI and district initial bargaining proposals. Are there anyone who would like to address that? Please step forward. Please say your name.
Karen Roberts, president of the part-time faculty. Good evening. I made this comment at the last board meeting, but I think I spoke to the wrong issue. We were asked to give a rather detailed proposal for sunshining, which I don't think is typical. And so what I wanted to do was to say that our intention is to go in the spirit of collaboration into negotiations. We have our negotiation team put together. We have a preliminary meeting tomorrow with the district, and then it is my intent to keep you updated as to our progress. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, item 1.2, committee reports. Do we have any committee reports of the trustees? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed. Student trustee, Jason Troya.
Don't really have all that much to say tonight. This program discontinuance process has been very emotional for us all, and that was reflected in my comments at the last meeting. I'm sorry if I got a little carried away. I just want to ask the board to stand with your students, to stand with the community of Long Beach, and move to reconsider the program discontinuance vote. Thank you.
That's it? Okay, thank you, Jason. Okay, next on the agenda, we have public comments on agenda items. At their request, members of the public may comment on items listed on the agenda at the time the item is discussed and prior to board action on the item. A 5-minute time limit will be allotted to each speaker with a maximum of 20 minutes to each subject unless extended by the board president. Now, I have a significant number of speaker cards here on agenda items, and they all basically are dealing with the same thing, with some minor exceptions in regards to a specific program. But the topic is the same. So let me see what I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I have 7 individuals who'd like to speak on the topic of program discontinuance and its impact. By resolution, we have 20 minutes. So 9, 18, that's 2. Let's give it 3 minutes each, so 27 minutes at the most. So let's give individuals 3 minutes per person to please speak on this item. I request that in respect to the other individuals who will be following you, those individuals who are speaking first, that you be conscious of your time, that you provide opportunity for the individuals who stand behind you who want to speak to please let them speak and don't eat up all their time so that we can hear everybody, because that's what we want to do. We want to certainly listen to your point of view, and we want to hear what you have to say regarding this topic. So as I call the individuals out, would you please line up over here to my right, your left, so that we can continue on with this as efficiently as we can. Nathan Douglas, Melvin Morgan, Karen Harper, Lynn Shaw, Shirley Gooding, Tom Hamilton, and Oliver Elder. When you step up, please say your name for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please speak into the microphone. We can't hear you.
I'm trying my best, sir. How's that?
That's good.
All right, my name is Nathan Douglas. I'm a retired video producer, and I've been enrolled here since January 2011. And before I make a comment about the impact of program discontinuance, I would like to publicly thank Nancy Allen for her tireless efforts keeping the students informed about what was going on. She was the only one we could rely on and continues to be the only one we can rely on for a straight answer around here. I'm going to limit my comments just to how this played out for me. I attended the board meeting where program discontinuance was discussed back in, I guess, December, and I did not comment at that time because everyone was referring to the program being discontinued as audio production. So I was blissfully unaware that it also included commercial music production, of which I am part. I'm in the songwriter track for that. So after that meeting in December, the vote was held the next month and the programs were discontinued. Again, audio production program was discontinued. Still no mention of commercial music production. On Monday, February 4th, I received an email from the college stating the audio production program was being discontinued and announcing a series of discontinuance workshops. Again, this was Monday, February 4th. The next day, I went to one of the first ones that were being offered just out of curiosity. You know, it doesn't hurt to have some information. So that Tuesday, February 5th, I went to that workshop. Again, no mention of commercial music production being discontinued. It was still audio production. After that workshop, I went back to the department and I requested a list of courses that would no longer be offered in the fall that had been offered previously. I got no response to that. Eventually, 2 days later, I wrote an email to counseling and requested a list of courses that would no longer be offered since it wasn't clear to me what was going on. The next day, Friday, February 8th, I received a response from the counseling department saying that commercial music production was being discontinued. This is the first I had heard, certainly officially, of this. Again, Friday, February 8th, is the notification. So, I mean, clearly there is an ongoing communication problem around here. And there are certainly some unrealistic time frames involved. But I'd like to finish by focusing not on myself, but to the newly arrived students, the ones who started this semester, who were blissfully unaware of all of this also, and signed up for courses in good faith this semester, a social contract, if you will, and found out in the first week or two of classes, oh, by the way, the program you're interested in, the one you've been dreaming about, the one you moved here to take part in, it's not going to be around in the fall. It's gone. And hey, nothing we can do for you. You're going to have to look somewhere else. That's reprehensible.
2 minutes, sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. State your name, please.
Yes. Hello, my name is Melvin Morgan, President of the PCC Student Council. Mr. Oakley, trustee members. Thank you for attending the meeting yesterday. What you said was quite informative to me. Of the 95% I did need to hear again, so that 5% was good, quite good. And what I'm going to read probably is going to make me very popular with the students, but oh well. As a successful certificate from Long Beach City College's Trades and Industrial and Careers Department, I am here to express my full support with the board's decision to discontinue the trades program set to be cut in the manner in which you guys have set forth. I feel that many of the trades programs need to be severely restructured with regard to equipment, building, and security upgrades. Business, government, person-to-person community relations, staffing, community involvement with both on an economic and volunteer scale. While in full support, I had some uneasiness, uneasy feelings about, one, how will the cuts affect the students that are genuinely serious about accomplishing their goals? Two, the exceptional instructors that have proven, and I feel will continually prove, themselves as assets to their programs. And three, the way in which the programs were cut. As a result of these feelings, I have stood back, listened carefully, and weighed the facts. And after careful consideration, the only thing negative I have to say to the board is, what took you so long? Then I researched how to answer my own question. My conclusion to the question is, one, due to LBCC construction issues. Two, low student finishing success rates, some who say it's 6%, others say it's 30%. That's debatable, still low. And three, the fact that I have full confidence that the board has done their homework with universities, community colleges, and other institutions throughout the industrially advanced nations to ensure that our future trades and industrial and careers departments be the most advanced department in the world. Therefore, I feel this restructuring couldn't have come at a better time. Board of Trustee constituents, due to certain foreseen repercussions, I know that you must choose your steps carefully. Even though this way of handling the situation has a tendency to make you appear to be the bad guys, I'd like you to know that there are some students who have seen the bigger picture and after clearly weighing the facts, stand behind your decision nearly 100%. With that said, the only question left of me is the assurance that LBCC doesn't lose faculty and staff that I feel would be a tremendous asset to our trades department in future years. Instructors such as Max Pena, who's perfect.
Okay, you're going beyond 4 minutes now, so please close it.
Okay, a couple more sentences. Max Pena, who's perfected every aspect of his Carpentry 211 curriculum. In doing this brief but verbal faculty report card, I am curious to know the opinions of other LBCC trade students to see how other instructors from our school trades departments favor. In all honesty, I feel you've given the situation a tremendous amount of thought, but in case you haven't, it might prove favorable for our school if you did as well. Just a thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello to President Oakley and the Board of Trustees. My name is Karen Harper. I am representing Occupy Long Beach. Students came to us and asked us to advocate for the return of the vocational and the other programs that have been cut. I felt if I was going to advocate that I should investigate on my own, so I have some information that I think contradicts what the young man just said. So today I spent time with the diesel mechanics, the auto mechanics, and the aviation maintenance programs. And I learned by talking to people at diesel mechanics that, well, first my question is, how many of you have spent time in those three programs talking to I challenge you to go. If I were 10 years younger, I'd be enrolled in one of those programs to make the women's count higher. So, in walking up to Diesel Mechanics, I talked to a gentleman named Scott Naley, who was sent there by his company.
Excuse me, Ms. Harper. What are you? Are you addressing discontinuance, or are you addressing the impact on the students? That's
Both.
later. That's another topic later on.
Both.
No, it says right here discontinuance. So please
Okay.
address discontinuance.
Okay, so
I'll give you a minute. Address discontinuance, please.
have I already used up my other 2 minutes?
Yes. You're on another topic. Hey, it's fair.
Okay, so Scott Naley is a representative from from Velocity Vehicle Group, and he says that his company donates at least $25,000 to $30,000 to Diesel Mechanics alone, and that the decision makers must be terribly misinformed because the business community desperately needs these trained workers. All right, so I'm going to switch real fast to aviation mechanics. It's the crown jewel of your program. It started in 1941. It brings in $1 million in federal grants, is rated by the FAA at 5th in the country. That is an exceptional accomplishment, and you're talking about eliminating it. You're counting the cost completely wrong because students enroll every 8 weeks instead of in a semester. And you're counting the donations as assets, as costs. I went on Google to see how many airplane mechanic jobs were available in Long Beach and open right now. Google said 106, 32 new ones. So I call for you to reconsider these eliminations because these are union jobs. These are middle-class jobs. These are serving the community and getting us out of our economic slump. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lynn Shaw, the president of the Full-Time Faculty Union. Once again, I'm speaking to you about program discontinuance. It is on the forefront of the minds of faculty. We're all feeling the pain and devastation, the closing of programs, and the laying off of our colleagues. And once the devastating layoff takes place, it is still not over for faculty or for the Long Beach City College community as an institution. The legacy of these layoffs will linger for years. It is a very sad day when our college casts aside faculty who have been serving our students and community for decades. I suggest we work together to improve the morale of faculty and that we begin the process soon and that we work on multiple fronts to improve the working conditions of faculty, which are the learning conditions of students. Finally, I want to make a very important public statement. The Community College Association has not now or ever been involved with the current recall vote of no confidence campaign against the Board of Trustees and the administration, nor do we endorse this effort. Please feel free to contact me if you have any further questions, and let's get back to bargaining.
My name is Shirley Gooding, and I'm addressing the agenda item about the discontinuance. I've been a student here for 13 years. My husband graduated from here in '72. One of the programs was scheduled for elimination. That was the X-ray department, which I find ridiculous. But one of the music program, commercial music, that is slated for discontinuance, that will also eliminate such things like Spring Sing, the dance recitals, because they record all that. Spring Sing has been going on for 61 years. And there's going to have nobody to record this. I mean, what are we thinking here? And the other thing is, I just have something really short and sweet to say. Stop flushing LBCC down the pipe.
Hello, my name is Morgan Bragdon. Good evening. I just enrolled in this.
I don't have you on my list. What's your name?
Morgan Bragdon.
Nope, don't have you.
On the other list.
Anyway. I'm
No,
just a
not
new
a-
student.
no,
in
not
the
anyway.
program.
You're here, but you're on a non-agenda item, which is later in the agenda. So you can speak later, please.
I'll be back.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Oliver Elder. I am currently a student here at Long Beach City College. I attended here 10 years ago. As soon as I graduated high school, I live in Whittier. I moved out of Whittier to come here when I was 18. I took radio communication. I took all my general ed classes here. I actually left when I was 20, and I left to go and do construction. I worked in radio for 5 years. I've done all kinds of framing, tile work. I've done a lot of different things. When the economy went bad and the construction industry crashed, I decided to reorganize my life, and I moved back here for this particular school, for the programs here. The programs here are amazing. I don't know what to say. I don't understand why you guys have decided to cut the programs. I commend the one board member out of all of you that has come down and spoken and actually sat with the students in the trade programs that you guys are all trying to cut. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Okay, I have one more, Tom Hamilton. I thought I saw him earlier. Oh, there he is.
Board of Trustees, I've listed as a speaker on item 5.4 dealing with classified employees instead of discontinuance. I don't know if it was listed incorrectly.
That's fine. No, it's here. It's the last one. You're speaking on 5.4, layoff program discontinuance.
Okay.
That's good.
So, my name is Thomas Hamilton. I'm the AFT president, President Uranga, and President Oakley, Board of Trustees members, staff, students, and faculty members. The classified employees in June of 2012 lost 65 people, jobs. In November of 2012, another 3 positions went out the door because of restructuring and reorganization. Now, in June of 2013, we have another 12 individuals that's slated to be laid off. We have been told, and we feel that we are the backbone of the college, but it's getting a lot harder to carry the load because the numbers are being greatly reduced throughout the years. Okay? And the problem we have is that we've been asked to do these different things. We had a deficit last year of 5.1 million, and classified upheld their end as far as to make a contributions to that. Okay, we feel that we have contributed more than enough of our fair share as far as to keep the college going, and also as far as to support our students, along with the grassroots effort we had as far as to pass Proposition 30, which we felt would enable the college and the district to survive and grow as far as our programs, and as far as to keep our students in a good health, and also solidify the fact that the classified employees would be safe. I spent 3 days up north as far as like in Oakland, listening to different districts throughout the state saying that their vocational programs were getting money and that they were growing their programs and intensifying their programs. The only fear that I heard from them is the fact that K through 12 was worried about that vocational education would be taken over by community college. So I'm thinking, well, sounds great for us, but then we still have program discontinuance, which has a big effect on us. And so what I'm asking for, and what the classified employees is asking the Board of Trustees to do, is to revisit this item as far as like with the ongoing layoffs as far as dealing with classified employees, see if we can sit back and reevaluate, relook, restructure, and relook at the reorganization that is being set forth before you this evening. We'd like for you to just stop it, reevaluate it, and see if we can turn around and come up with a better alternative. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That concludes the speaker cards that I have for agenda items only at this time. Moving on with the agenda, we are now at the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, we are now at the item 5.3, resolution reduction of discontinuance of particular kinds of service. This is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Discussion. Anybody have any comments on that regarding the agenda item we have right now?
Yeah, that's later.
No items? Okay. Just before we take the vote, I just want to say that the decisions that this board makes, we know aren't always popular. We know that they're not always viewed as being something that is going to draw favor, and it's political, and it's going to be criticized, and we are looking at a decision that has a tremendous impact on a lot of people. It has an impact on the community. It has an impact on students, which is most important to us. But when I look at that mission up there, and we look at what we are here for, and what is our mission is to keep this college strong, to keep it physically sound, to keep it balanced, to keep it in budget, so that we can provide more services for more students as we move forward. This year, we're celebrating 85 years as an institution. We hope to stay another 85 years. But we can't do it when we have budget crunches, when Sacramento tells us that you're going to be giving half of the allotment that you're due, and that the rest will be deferred for another time. And that's where we're at right now. It is a real budget issue that we have. It is not political. If it is political, it's political in Sacramento, certainly not with us. We have to balance a budget, and the only way we can do it is by looking at how well are our programs doing. And we evaluate those programs, and there's a process by which that is done. That process took place over the last year. It started last year, and it's ending up with the recommendations that we have here before us on these programs. That's where it's at. The recommendations that we are looking at here are recommendations that were brought forward to us. As a board, we did not participate in the evaluation of the faculty. We did not participate in the evaluation of how many certificates, how many transfers were done by each program. We did not participate in how many degrees or diplomas were handed out in these programs. These programs were reviewed by the faculty, by the administration, by the internal workings of this college, and brought forward to us as a recommendation. Initially, we had approximately 18 programs that were being reviewed. That was whittled down after Prop 30. We said we could handle the other programs. That was whittled down to 12. And then on the evening that we proposed a final 11 that was whittled down to 11. So we're at 11 programs. We were looking at the possible release or layoff of 25 faculty. We're now looking at less than that. So we have done our diligence, and we know that it's not popular, and it makes no difference how many programs we cut, it's going to be unpopular. Whether it's 1 or 11, it makes no difference. It's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt students, it's going to hurt the faculty, and it's going to hurt especially the programs that we have to offer here at Long Beach City College, because we do have a great reputation. We have a reputation nationwide that we want to keep, and we want to maintain, because we are a great institution. We've been around 85 years, and we hope to be in 85 more. So saying that, Any more discussion from any of my trustees, my colleagues? Okay, we'll take the vote. We'll make it a roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Well, they need to know. Yeah.
President Uranga,
Aye.
Vice President Kellogg,
Aye.
Member Bowen,
No.
Member Clark,
Aye.
Member Otto. And advisory vote, Student Trustee Troya.
No.
Ayes have it. Next item. Resolution reduction of classified staff. This is an action item, and I also have a motion, please.
So moved.
I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
I would just note that the classified staff that are being recommended to be eliminated were staff that served the programs that are being discontinued, and so there doesn't appear to be a need for those specific positions.
Any other comments? Okay. We'll take a vote.
President Uranga,
Aye.
Vice President Kellogg,
Aye.
Member Bowen,
No.
Member Clark,
Aye.
Member Otto.
Aye.
Advisory vote, Student Trustee Troya.
No.
Okay. Item 5.5, receipt of district initial bargaining. Before I continue with that, I just want to make one final comment. And I discussed this earlier with our student trustee. Thank you, Jason, for meeting with me recently to clarify some issues. But one of the things that I said is that it's very easy to say no to something. It's very difficult to come up with an alternative. It's very easy to say, no, don't discontinue these programs, but I haven't heard any alternatives. So when you consider the vote, when you're saying no, then I also want to hear some alternatives, and I have heard none. So I'm just throwing that out there, that when we take our vote here, and we have decided to either continue or discontinue a program, or lay off, or retain or reorganize or restructure some of these positions, it's done through the diligence and the study that we have and the information that we have. Now, if there's other information out there that you have and you want to share with us, I welcome it, and please bring it forward. Can't do it now. We've already taken the vote. But what I'm saying is that, come on and bring it forward. So now we move on forward. Okay, item 5.5, receipt of a district initial bargaining proposal to CHI. We've already discussed the item. We already voted on it, Trustee Troya. We're moving on with the agenda.
Please quit gunning for me. It's unbecoming.
I didn't hear you said, but anyway. 5.5, receipt of district initial bargaining proposal to CHI LBCC. This is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Take a vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, passes. 5.6, receipt of CHI LBCC bargaining agreement proposal to the district. This is also an exception.
So moved.
Yeah,
Second.
it's also an action item. Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Item 9, Academic Senate. I have no items, no report. Item 9.1, addressing student impacts of program discontinuance. This is a informative item. President Superintendent Oakley.
Yes, thank you, Board President Uranga. I want to take some time to focus on the actions that have been taken with regards to the impact on students, which is what we are primarily focused on right now, is reaching out to any student who could be impacted by the program discontinuance and working with them to do everything we can to help them achieve their educational goals. And I heard the public speaker earlier today, and I certainly apologize if there was confusion in regard to communication he received, and that's certainly something we will take into consideration as we work with our departments to ensure that we are as clear as possible about what the impacts are. So for the report, I'd like to ask Dr. Greg Peterson, our Vice President of Student Support Services, to walk us through what actions we're taking with regard to the students.
Okay. So we are, I'd like to walk you through, I've been working very closely with Dr. Lowenstein on this presentation for this evening with Student Services and also Academic Affairs working closely together. As we pull our numbers from our admissions and records, we had 25,390 to kind of set the stage, the larger context, with the total number of students who enrolled in fall 2012. Of that number, 1,661 were enrolled in a course in one of the discontinued programs in fall 2012. We know that students come for many different reasons and take courses for many different reasons. The average completion rates for these programs have been about in the 20% range, so we estimated high at 30% with the assumption that we'd have at least 500 students who would be interested in completing the certificate and degree programs. As we pulled our numbers from admissions and records, we have approximately that number who are close enough to be able to complete with also completing coursework in the summer. And then we believe that there could be up to another 100 who could complete with other options that I'll explain in the next slides. So for students looking to complete programs, those that are close, we're making summer classes available. One of the challenges as we're working through this is the timing of pulling all of these things together. What's very important for us is that whatever we offer in the summer are those exact courses that the students need to complete. So instead of just placing courses on the schedule for the summer, our counselors have been collecting the exact courses students have needed as they've met, and that will then determine what courses we offer. That'll also give us the opportunity to build the schedule in the summer, so if a student needs 2 courses, we'll make sure that they're not scheduled at the same time, that the students will be able to get all the courses that they need. Working with the departments and the faculty in the departments, some students will have the opportunity to do a credit by examination where they've had experience previously that they can get credit for. Also, some of the programs are working very hard to identify course substitutions, so other courses that the students can take or have taken that can be used to meet the requirements of a degree or certificate program. We have also had a number of students this semester who have completed an overload petition or taking more than 18 units, and we have extended the deadline on that to allow students to do that. In addition, for students who will not be able to complete the program that they're currently in, we are working with our counselors with the instructional areas, with the instructional deans, to determine what other options are available in transitioning those units to other programs here at Long Beach City College. For example, there are existing programs such as the Mechanical Maintenance Technology program, which does have some overlap with some of the programs that are being discontinued. That could be an option for students to apply their units. Another option that we have, some of our faculty are developing new degrees and certificate programs. The art faculty is currently working on a new Associates of Transfer degree in digital and studio art that would then allow students to apply their units to in order to be able to complete the certificate and degree here. And again, we are working very closely with our counselors on this work and then with the faculty in those departments. In addition, for students looking for other options to complete the programs that they started, we have been working, so contacts have been made with deans and department heads at community colleges in Los Angeles and North Orange County who have indicated that there will be seats available to accommodate our students in each of the discontinued programs. Coursework is also being articulated between institutions involving counselors, the articulation coordinator, program faculty, department heads, and deans to do that work, so that the coursework from Long Beach City College will be transferable to those different colleges. In communication, so beginning the week before the semester began and then through January and February, we have been working to communicate as much as possible with any students who are impacted, so even larger than that 1,600 number. That has included using our Blackboard Connect system and communicating by email, phone call, and text message where possible. We had our instructional deans visit the classes impacted the first week of school to speak with students, and then we held 7 program discontinuance workshops during the first week for students to begin the process. We weren't able to share all the information at that time, but at least start the communication. In addition, what we did is we set aside appointments for students to meet with counselors and gave them a priority to do that. We had 196 students who participated in one of the program discontinuance workshops. As of yesterday, 123 students, those students have met with a counselor and have been able to review their educational plan. In addition, we are scheduling program-specific group sessions for counseling. We have done 3 of them. I just completed another one last week, in which we meet with a counselor, the students, and then faculty from the program to talk about those specific options that are faculty-driven, such as course substitutions and credit by exam. And then we will continue to monitor the numbers of students. So in admissions and records, we'll continue to monitor the students that we've reached, the students who have come into counseling, the students have not, and we'll continue in monitoring that and communicating with them as we move forward. So our commitment is to connect with as many students as possible and to make sure that we're connecting with a counselor and be able to create that plan so that they see what options are available specifically to them.
Questions of the board?
On the first slide, it indicated that, let me get my thing here, that there were 1,600 students enrolled in discontinued programs in the fall of 2012, and you indicate that there's an expected completion rate of 30%, or about 500 students. Is that would be expected to complete the program? What's the utility of that number?
We anticipate. We know that students are taking the courses for many different reasons, and so looking at in the past the percentage of students who have taken the courses with the intent to complete. So we looked at least that was what we should be targeting as we move forward in providing the courses.
If I could interject. That number is based on extrapolation of college-wide behavior of students. But what we know from the programs, these 11 programs that we reviewed, over the last 6 years, 82 certificates and degrees have been conferred total over the entire 6 years. So we have extrapolated that number to ensure that we reach any student, but the reality is it will be somewhere between 82 and 500, but we want to make sure that we do everything we can to reach any student who could be thinking about completing and encouraging them at this point in time.
So we believe that students can complete who are in the position to complete at this point, and almost 500 of those 500 based on the expected completion rate would be able to complete with the summer coursework that we're going to offer? Doesn't mean they have to, but...
Yes, we looked at, that number is the students who, using the units that they complete in the spring semester and then carrying a full load in the summer, would be able to complete program requirements.
And they'll be able to do that. Enough courses will be available where we've made a commitment to offer those courses as needed.
Right, and that's why we're still building that summer schedule, because we want to make sure that whatever we offer in the summer is specifically what those students need, so that they are able to complete those.
And then you say that in addition to that 500, that an additional approximately 100 students can complete with the other options that are made available, and that would include credit by examination, course substitution, overload petitions, things like that?
Correct.
And I know that there are other programs that they're not the same programs, but they involve the same type of skill sets, and that we're making those places in those programs available to students as well? Okay. And
we are actively working with a couple of local community colleges to ensure that those students who want to go on and continue have a community college to go locally, and that there are seats held for them going forward.
Yeah. And I note that with regard to the things we're doing for the faculty who would be laid off or will be laid off as a result of these decisions, that that we're working with the faculty union to come up with things that would mitigate those effects and in fact incorporate or maintain as many faculty as we possibly can?
Yes, we have been actively working with the CCA leadership to find savings through retirements that would allow us to absorb as many faculty as possible. I think the resolution today has a much lower number of faculty than we originally were proposing because of the commitments we've made with CCA to generate more than 10 retirements out of the faculty ranks that would help us find the savings to be able to absorb faculty and allow us to continue to teach courses that those faculty teach as part of other programs at the college.
And it's my understanding also that when you say, for example, that the photography program is going to be eliminated, are we going to not therefore teach any photography classes?
No, as a matter of fact, we are keeping the faculty that we're teaching in the photography program, and we are working with the faculty with that department, with the department chair, with the dean, who are both here, to look at how we apply the talents of those faculty and their teaching expertise in photography into programs that will serve the employment needs of our students going forward in that industry.
So, I mean, I thought the purpose of this was to save money. If we're keeping the faculty, how do we go about saving money, for example, in that program?
Well, the purpose is twofold. The way we save money is by discontinuing the program. We no longer have to have the teaching load it takes to teach all the courses in that program. So, for example, we would not have to employ the part-time faculty in those programs. So we would have reap savings there as well. The other thing is to, as the student mentioned earlier who was speaking, part of this is to give us an opportunity to reorganize these programs to be able to infuse them with new skills so that we can create new programs going forward that would provide the kinds of skills and experience necessary for our students to get employed in the industries that are being created now.
And let me just pick one other program to ask about, because we had a speaker address this, and that's commercial music, audio production and music production. Is that program being entirely eliminated, or are there still classes that will be taught?
That particular area has a number of degree and certificate programs underneath it. And so in the department, and unfortunately Dr. Lowenstein is not here because he has a medical situation. He can explain more clearly to the board some of the other programs that will continue under that area. But there are other programs that students can be diverted into. I don't know if Dr. Peterson, you have that off the top of your head, but we can certainly ask Dr. Lowenstein to report on that at the next board meeting.
Are there faculty that remain in that program area?
In the department, yes, but in that specific degree program, audio production, no. The faculty member is being reassigned to another area.
Okay, so the
Will
faculty
continue to teach, but
Okay.
not in that program.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Kellogg.
No, I just want to very quickly that I'm glad this part of the President's report about addressing the impact of students was made, because early in this process, and for some people that may or may not realize, this process began over a year ago on the discontinuance of programs. And one of the areas that we as a board were most concerned about is to try to limit the impact on the students that are caught in this scenario, a scenario that is difficult for the college. But if you're the part of the 1,661 students, how are we going to help those individuals? So even though as difficult as the times have been, I just want to compliment the fact that we have made that commitment, and this report at least shows what's been going on as far as trying to lessen the impact on our students. And simply because it's something that we made as a pledge early on to do so, hopefully it is helping these students, and hopefully this is explained to some people that may not have understood how long this process has been going on. I know one person did make the comment earlier about, and this was part of it, but about having this process, and I didn't really want to speak at that point in time, because to me the process has run its course. The process was open, it was fair, it brought in all the people that needed to be involved in it, especially from the academic side. But at the very end of it, my concern was the entire process was the students. And that was one of the most critical things, is people will say, yes, no, we weren't involved. But the fact is that if we turn to the Academic Senate and we talk to them throughout this entire process from last year, and actually we did talk about other options. Those options were discussed with the college. They included things like cross-the-board cuts to full-time faculty, which they did not want to do, and I understand that. There was talk, never reached anything farther, about doing it where other people are going to take the impact. So the only reason I bring that up at this point in time, because the process ran its course. The process was transparent. The information, somebody brought up a fact, and I'm not going to go back and rehash that one, but I remember vividly asking about that question about with number of units, et cetera. All those factors were played into it. And so it was sort of an interesting, and I always love politics because that's what we were elected. But when someone sits there and says, did we ever go talk to somebody? Well, the fact is, in this process, the board was not involved in that level. We were talking with the faculty were talking among themselves, and all those issues, I felt very confidently, in a very difficult situation, were addressed. It may not be to the satisfaction of people that ended up on the list, a list nobody wanted to be part of. But nonetheless, it was a process that I felt was very open, fair as we could be, and it was transparent. And I felt good about that. But the most important part, and what this report, was that we were going to take care of the students in the best way we could. And I feel that that is taking place. It will continue to take place, and hopefully we'll keep doing reports like this. So I appreciate the fact that you did make this report. I'll just tell everyone who may or may not have heard this before that the mission statement is no longer up there, but my colleagues have heard this, and I apologize to them that nobody did anything wrong in this process. The students didn't do anything wrong. The full-time faculty members did nothing wrong. It met the mission of our college right there. Everything happened, but the fact is there had to be, and it was made by President Aranga, some decision was going to have to be made. As difficult as that was going to be, we knew something was going to be done. I think most people accepted that. We realized that the Academic Senate, they don't want to be involved in which programs. They're dealing with their peers. So early on, we said we'll have to be the ones that make the final call. And we did so. And that's part of this job description. You got to make the really tough decisions, and don't put it off on your faculty to say, not only are you going to tell us whether this process has been fair and it's understanding that the data is clean. We didn't put them in that situation, but we did lean heavily on our academic side of this college to help provide us with all the information to make the best of a bad situation. And I'm just encouraged the fact that we're still making that commitment to students. And that's the best we can do, and that's what we're going to continue to do, because at the end of the day, it is about the students. And so I hope we continue to keep giving us an update on what's taking place, because they're our biggest concern throughout this whole process. So nice report during tough times, but I appreciate the fact that we are staying true to our commitment about addressing the needs of our students. Well done.
Any other comments? Okay, I just want to also say that these programs that were discontinued, at least those that we can, we're going to be reaching out to those industries that can assist us, help us, perhaps with donations or with their financial assistance to keep some of these programs going, if not as a full certified program where there's a diploma, but at least to keep those classes that are so important in the community that the community wants and demands to sustain them, whether it's in automotive or welding, whatever the other areas that we have. You know, we are going to try to reach out to those industries to see if they can partner with us, public-private partnership, to continue some of these programs. So we are looking at other alternatives, and hopefully, you know, they will come to fruition sometime in the near future, so that we can continue providing those trades programs that we had to look at today and discontinue. Any other comments from from colleagues? Can you hear none? Thank you for the report, and we shall move on with the agenda. Item 11, academic affairs.
We're actually on 9.2, but if you want to skip over me, you can.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do that.
President's report. I thought that was your president's report. Okay, sorry. Apologize. President's report, 9.2.
Okay, thank you, Board President Uranga. I will try to make this short, but I do have several items I want to get to. First of all, I want to thank the Little Hoover Commission who held their meeting here today, their commission meeting. It was filled with very interesting testimony on MOOCs, on online education, on financing community colleges and higher education. I know a few faculty and several of our staff came by at one point in time, but I think this is a testament to the work that's done here at Long Beach City College, that the Little Hoover Commission felt that it wanted to come to a community college, the best community college, to hold their meeting and to talk about these issues that we're dealing with at board meetings like this. And they're trying to come up with recommendations to help us avoid some of the discussions that we're having, and to help our state government understand how to better finance our institutions so that we can support the needs of our communities and, most importantly, the needs of our students. One other issue that is something that we have not talked a lot about, and the frustration that's in this room has to become focused on, is on Friday, the federal government is expected to allow the sequestration cuts to go into effect. This is going to have a direct impact on most of the people in this room, through no fault of your own, other than we have to have a louder voice with our elected officials. Student aid will be cut. Cuts will commence with several organizations and agencies that are funded by the federal government that directly impact employment here in the city of Long Beach. It will affect the economy of the state of California, which will directly impact our funding for Long Beach City College. So I don't want to let the frustration that many feel today leave here this evening without the realization that you do have a place that you can express your frustration. Because if the federal government does not turn this around, all of us will once again be feeling the impact of cuts that will directly impact our ability to serve our students and our students' ability to pay for their education, whether they're here at the CSU or the UC system. So I hope that you all take some time today, tomorrow, before Friday, to contact your legislators in Washington, D.C., and tell them to do their job and to end this fight over sequestration. It's something that we have not talked about, but something that will, over time, have a huge impact. And we will be having more discussions like this because of actions that none of us are directly have any say-so over, other than our voice with our elected officials. So please join me in expressing concern to our elected officials in Washington, D.C. I also want to thank the Associate Student Body and its new president, Josh Lorenzini, for allowing me to speak to the ASB cabinet yesterday. We had a very good discussion about various issues that the ASB cabinet was concerned about, and I certainly appreciate their questions, their concerns, and their attention to the answers that I had, and I will, as I've committed to them, follow up again later in the semester with them to address any of their other concerns. So, and I thank all of those members for volunteering their time to serve the students of Long Beach City College. I also want to again highlight the faculty leadership, and particularly the Academic Senate, for working with all faculty to provide input into this process. It's a very confusing process, and that doesn't escape me. I work here, and I am responsible for implementing a process that even I sit back from time to time and wonder, how did we come up with this? But it is a process that is in place for a reason, and those of us in public academic institutions have these processes in place to allow for deliberation and to allow particularly faculty and academic administrators an opportunity to discuss information because the faculty have primary responsibility over their academic programs. Many faculty have questioned whether or not their voice was heard in this process, and I can understand why it's difficult to see how it was heard, because there's so much dialogue throughout the last year, so many meetings, so many presentations. It's difficult to understand where the voice was heard because there's been so much testimony, and we're still here talking about 11 programs that are being discontinued. And I can honestly say, since I am the one who had to make the recommendation, that the faculty's input was invaluable. The faculty's input helped me shape a recommendation. Even though it's a recommendation that many would disagree with, it helped shape the recommendation. So, although I know many are concerned about the outcome, I want to ensure that those faculty understand that their voice was heard, and that my recommendation reflected some of those voices, because as many who followed the process from day one know, the recommendation was looking very different than what it turned out to be. Everything from the programs that were discontinued to the work that we're doing to absorb some faculty to even things like the sabbaticals. And now the concern that's being expressed about faculty hires, I am listening to their voice, and we will do everything we can to incorporate those recommendations into what we actually do. And we are holding off on faculty hires for now, except for cybersecurity until I meet with and understand the views of the Senate and the hiring process that they want to relook at, and we will continue to work with our faculty colleagues to address their concerns as best as possible, while I also weigh the needs of the students, the classified staff, and the community, and ensure that we meet the needs of everyone, even though we're trying to work with one particular constituent group to address their needs and concerns. And in addition to the classified staff, we have tried to significantly limit the impact of the classified staff. Yes, we still have 7 classified employees that are directly related to program discontinuance that have been impacted. But as I told our AFT president, we will continue to work with him and AFT to reduce the impact and also begin to reinvest in the classified staff. So as we turn the corner on this, we are now looking at ways to put positions back into the classified ranks to help serve the students' needs and to help serve the needs of this institution. So that will be forthcoming as we plan for the next fiscal year, and we will work with the AFT leadership so that they understand the investment that we are going to make back into the classified staff. And then finally, I do want to make the point that it gets lost in this discussion where we're focused on particular programs that confer a degree or certificate, and we lose sight of the skills that we're teaching, the skills that we're teaching students. We have a commitment to continue to find ways to teach those skills to students and to find better ways to confer meaningful degrees and certificates that help them find employment in this region. Do we always get that right? No. But we are going to continue to work with our faculty, our staff, and our industry partners, which we're working with right now. And that gets lost in this discussion. We have ongoing conversations with several leaders in the city, with the Port of Long Beach, to develop programs that will allow students to get the jobs that they are creating for the future. And we will continue to carry that commitment forward. And as we turn the corner on this, we will be able to talk more about those programs, more about those opportunities, and be able to invest in those opportunities so that our students can have education that prepares them for jobs in this region. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I make a
excuse me?
Quick comment in response?
Go ahead.
Sure. You know, what's happened to us in the last 4 years is not only have we lost close to $10 million in funding, but what brings it mostly home to me is that we used to have cyclical problems, and we thought we could get out of those problems by weathering the downturns, but the cyclical problem became a structural problem, and we had to move to greater and deeper solutions. We now teach something like 2,200 fewer sections than we did 4 years ago. If you drove down Clark or along Carson between December 15th and February 5th, there was nothing happening at this college. There were no classes being taught. There were no students here. There virtually were no faculty here. In the summer, it's almost like that. So you've got this asset that isn't being used because the money isn't available to use the facilities that we have here. We could teach as many as 4 intersessions during the course of a year if we had the money, but we don't. And those facts have brought us to where we are today, and the decisions that we've been making over the last 9 months or so about where do we go from here. I personally think that as difficult as the process has been, and in many ways as confusing as it's been, that it's worked its way through, and as unpleasant as it is, good decisions are being made, as unpopular as they may be. And we still have a ways to go, but we're going in the right direction.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the board? Hearing none, we'll continue with the agenda. Academic affairs, I have no items, no report. Item 12, student support services, no items, no report. Administrative services, item 13, 12.9. It's 12.9. It's the 2012-2013 mid-year budget performance report. This is an informative item. Vice VP Gable.
Yes, thank you. So I will walk the board through the mid-year budget performance report, and this is as of December 31st, 2012. The format is similar to what you're used to seeing, and we're reporting on the unrestricted general fund. So what we're doing is we're comparing the adopted budget, which the board adopted back in September. We show the current budget as it was as of December 31st, what revenues have actually come in and expenditures that were actually incurred as of December 31st, and then we do a projection on where we think the revenues and expenditures will end up at June 30, 2013. And then we have the variance column, which is both in dollar amount of the difference between the current budget and the projected year-end amounts as of 6/30/2013. And as I said, we have both the amount and the percentage. Not a whole lot of changes that we're expecting from the adopted budget. However, there is one very large one under the state apportionment, which is on page 1. It's the second grouping of numbers that you see there on page 1. For our state, total state principal apportionment, when we adopted the budget back in September, we had anticipated that we would receive $93,608,000 from the state for the FTES that we were generating. Currently, as of December 31st, based upon information that was provided to us from the Chancellor's Office, we are projecting that to decrease by $4.6 million. So right now we're projecting that we're only going to receive $88,993,000 from the state. And that is with the passage of Proposition 30. So, and that is part of the net change there. So with the passage of Proposition 30, as of December 31st, the state had informed us that they thought we would receive $812,000 in restoration money. And so we have included that in our projection. However, at the state level, they don't feel that the revenues are coming in at the level that they had anticipated with our redevelopment monies, our property taxes, and our enrollment fees. And so what they have done is applied what we call a deficit factor. So if the board will recall, our state funding comes from 3 different sources. One is from the state apportionment, and that's what the state pays us. A second source comes from our local property taxes that we receive via the county. And then the third is the enrollment fees that the students pay. So at any point in time when the property taxes and or the enrollment fees don't come in at the level anticipated by the state, not by us locally, by the state, they don't make up the difference with state apportionment. What they do is they apply what's called a deficit factor. So at December 31st, the deficit factor that they have applied to us is 6.7%. In essence, that's $6.2 million that they are withholding from us and will not pay the district. Now, when we built our budget, we had anticipated and built in for a 1% deficit factor. So the difference between the 1% and the 6.7 that they told us they would impose in December is about $5.4 million. Offset that with the $812,000 in restoration money. That's where we get to the $4.6 million less in revenue than we had anticipated back in September. Moving down to really the next group of items, you see that in mandated cost reimbursement, we have actually received $117,000 more than we had budgeted, so we're showing that on here. And then under the local revenue columns, we have received more in both our international students fees and our non-resident tuition fees, and so we're showing an increase in those areas. So overall, our total revenue, we are anticipating at this point in time to receive $4,053,000 less than what we had built into our adopted budget. So if we move to page 2, under the expenditures, that first group of expenditures are our academic salaries. And you'll see there that our total academic salaries, we had originally budgeted $294,000 in academic salaries. At this point in time, we're projecting $43,742,000 for a savings of about $528,000. That's primarily due to vacancies and early retirements that occurred after the budget was adopted. Moving on to page 3, we have our classified salaries. And again, for our total classified salaries, our adopted budget was $22,297,000. As of December 31st, we're expecting to spend $21,840,000 for a savings of about $572,000. And that is related to vacancies within the classified service unit throughout the year. Our benefits is the next group of expenditures, and you see there that our adopted budget was $23,455,000. We're anticipating to spend $22,882,000 for a savings of about $529,000. If our salaries go down, then our benefits go down as well, so that's why you see a savings there. For the rest of expenditures, we haven't projected any difference between our adopted budget. It's only 6 months in the year, and all of those budgets are primarily tied to departmental budgets, so we are anticipating that the departments will spend what they have in their budget. It's too early not to expect otherwise. So overall, you see our total expenditures there at the bottom of page 4. We had adopted a budget with $101,563,000 in expenditures, and we're projecting that we will spend $99,934,000 for an expenditure savings from budget of $1,629,000. Moving on to page 5, you'll see kind of there in the middle of the page where we discuss the operating surplus or deficit. When we adopted our budget, we had planned on having a deficit of $1,268,000. At this point in time, due to the decrease in revenue, offset by the savings and expenditures, we're projecting our deficit to be $3,485,000. And that will end my report. If you have any questions.
Yes, do we have adequate amount of money in our reserve to cover that deficit?
I would say that we have adequate amount of money in our reserves to cover the deficit. However, our reserves do not equal our cash balance, which I think is very important for everyone to understand. Right now, at this point, just to give you what we thought our reserves would be, on page 5, it's called the ending balance or the fund balance. And when we had adopted the budget, we thought that our fund balance would be $13,573,000. We're currently projecting that to be $11,356,000. So we can absorb the deficit in this current fiscal year. And that's what we plan on doing, is reducing our ending fund balance for that loss in revenue. But our cash balance is to the point where we're required, or we're actually issuing, by the end of this week, we'll have issued a TRANS, which is a tax revenue anticipation note, or a form of short-term financing equal to $22 million, just so that we'll have enough cash throughout the end of the year to pay all of our bills. Another note, Our monthly payroll is about $8 million. So even though we may have on paper $11.4 million in fund balance, that wouldn't even cover 2 months of our payroll. But again, it's not cash balance, and these are always a point in time, but cash is the major concern due to the deferrals that the state has imposed on us.
Now we borrow money, we pay interest, of course.
Correct.
Any other comments from the board? Trustee Kellogg.
That was my question. What the fact that we are forced to go out and borrow money in a different way, what's that going to do to our bottom line as far as additional costs?
Well, we have built that into the budget, and you'll see that on page 4 as one of the line items. We have a line item called trans cost of issuance. And so we're estimating that it'll cost us just under $325,000 to borrow the money. You'll see that we've already spent $175,000. That was due to the trans issuance that we did earlier in the year to get us through to this point in February. Now we'll be doing another trans issuance in February, which will cost us additional money.
And I know you, because you work with other colleges on your the same position. This with the enrollment fees. This isn't just exclusively a Long Beach City College issue. As far as the state of California is not giving the amount of money in the enrollment fees. Is that across the board, or is there a formula?
Yes, that is a statewide deficit. So that deficit factor that I mentioned, 6.7%, is applied to all of the districts throughout the state that are not state aid,
Basic aid.
Basic aid, thank you. Basic aid districts. There are 4 basic aid districts throughout the state, and basically what that means is that they receive more in property taxes and enrollment fees than they would necessarily be entitled to through the funding formula. And so they get to keep any of the excess costs, and the state doesn't contribute any funds to those districts. So since the state's not paying them any cash, they can't deficit them.
So the four colleges, or districts, I should say, out of the 72 or 112, everyone else, we're all feeling the same pain. There's nothing that we can do differently at Long Beach that other colleges aren't also having to address. Not
as far as the deficit factor is concerned.
The expectations the state had on revenue. So that is the first indication that they were overly optimistic on this economic recovery that we're all enjoying today. And I'll tell you what, I can't keep enjoying it too much more because, so my point of that, not to be facetious, but so what is our plan? We just went through over a year process, painful, to address a deficit of millions of dollars, and what I'm hearing is I may have even another deficit that I'm going to address, and my question is, how am I going to address it this time? We're all people. 87% of my budget is human beings, so I don't know what options we have in this regard. I mean, but are we looking at potentially another round of layoffs?
Not related to the deficit factor that is applied. As I said, for the current fiscal year, any shortfall in revenue that comes through, we will absorb with our ending fund balance. And so we won't be making any further cuts in the current fiscal year due to the deficit factor. I think with what the deficit factor came in, that was what set the, I don't want to say goal, but kind of the target and cuts that we need to make for the 13-14 year. And that target is set at $4 million for 13-14, of which the program discontinuance that we just acted on tonight will represent about $2.4 million towards that $4 million. We also have reorganizations that we're going to be working through to try to get to that target amount. I don't necessarily know that we'll fully get to the target amount. We may actually only get to between $3.2 and $3.5 million. But at this point, that would be the most that we would be cutting for the 13-14 year and moving forward. The governor's plan does have additional revenue coming to the college in 13-14. We don't know if that will stay, since it's just the first blush. The governor came out with his budget back in January, and it's just now starting to move through the legislative process. And so what the governor proposed will more than likely change considerably by the time we get to the May revise, which is around May 15th. At that point in time, we'll have a better idea of what our budget will be for 13-14.
Any other comments? Trustees? No? Okay, thank you. Okay, item 12.10, 2012-2013, second quarterly financial report. This is an action item.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. Pacific Coast Campus, no items, no report. College Advancement and Economic Development, no items, no report. Academic Senate. Dr. Juarez.
Okay. I'm guessing you probably saw the motion, or it isn't a motion. It does say motion on here, but it isn't. I'm sorry, the resolution that came out. And the resolution, basically, the issue is that the Senate wants to make sure, we went through this process last fall of trying to re-look at the hiring process and, you know, all the stuff that was going on last fall. So the process itself ended up kind of breaking down. And the Senate would like the president and the board to suspend the current hiring except for the 2 carryover positions that were approved the year before. I believe that in addition to your cyber person, there was a math lab person or something like that. And that the Hiring Priorities Committee reconvene and complete the process of review and approval of the revisions. And that I like this one. They said the process and the criteria for determining new full-time faculty positions only after the process and criteria for determining the positions is approved by the Academic Senate, then consider hiring new full-time faculty. So basically, they wanted to go back to the committee and then to the Senate and then determine whether or not hiring should take place or not. Does that make sense? Did you have any questions on that? Okay, well, there was one other thing I wanted to say, and this is from me as the Academic Senate President, not faculty, not Senate. This is really me and my job as Academic Senate President. And I'm kind of glad he's not here today because it's better, you know, he not be here. But in terms of that, what I really want to do is I want to thank President Oakley for his decision in hiring Dr. Lowenstein. Because personally, I'm not very good at making choices, and he wasn't my first choice. But I am really good at recognizing outstanding employees. And although he and I clearly have some very different views and may not agree on how and when and almost anything, but rarely have I met someone who puts my work ethic to shame, and he absolutely does. And I'm awed by his dedication to the college and his tireless efforts to meet the board's goals of student success through collegial consultation. He has this open door policy that basically allows any of us to walk in at any time, and it never amazes me that he's willing to put down his computer, his phone, whatever, and say, okay, what's up? And he has made it possible for me to survive this difficult year. So I really want to thank President Oakley for your wise choice and wise and excellent choice in hiring Dr. Lowenstein. And again, that's from me.
Well, I'm very happy to see you happy.
Happy to see anyone happy.
Thank you.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Okay, we are now at trustee communications. Any communications from the trustees?
I have one.
Trustee Otto?
Yeah, I've talked to, I think most of you individually about this, but on April 7th and 8th here at Long Beach City College, there will be a student success training program for Long Beach City College trustees. It's done by ACCT and Byron McClenny as the facilitators. It's a Sunday and a Monday. It starts at noon and winds up at the next day at about noon. And it's been very successfully done in a very similar way in Washington State, in Ohio, in Nebraska, and in a slightly different format in Texas. And we've worked hard to bring this program to Long Beach City College, and there's been a lot of back and forth. And so we hope that all trustees can participate in this program, because it's important to the work that we do. So I just wanted to make sure everybody got it on their calendars. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other communications? Trustee Kellogg?
But I know there's an event tomorrow at the Pacific Coast campus in regard to dedication of a building that we finally have with some of the construction, which is during all these difficult times, it's nice to have something positive to point to, and actually something else, because I know I've gone to it in the last couple of years. This Friday here at the LAC campus. It's named after a former president of this college, Beverly O'Neill, and it has to do with the students. And if you want to go and meet a lot of our students here that are really trying to make a positive impact with their lives, I suggest, and I know a lot of us have gone to that in the past, but it's this Friday at the LAC campus. Starts at 9 in the morning, and it's with students on as they are developing their skill sets and looking at their lives and how they can improve it. And it's always been enjoyable for me to go there and sit down and hear the students, and really pretty amazing how some of these young people are moving forward with their lives. So it's this Friday. And did I get that right? It's 9 o'clock? Because I know I said
it begins at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So anyway, it's during all the difficult things we do, you need to go to something to recharge your batteries, and that's probably one of the better things you can go do. Thank you.
Okay. New business. I don't think we had anything today for new business. Future reports. We have an accreditation self-study update that we will be receiving later on, and we have an ARCC final report that will be coming to the board later in the spring, I would hope. Okay, we are now at the point of public comments on non-agenda items. At their request, members of the public will be given the opportunity to address the Board of Trustees on matters of general district business. This is a time for members of the public to speak, be heard, and share their comments with the board, and for the board to listen. Therefore, the public should not expect the board to comment or respond to public comments. A particular position should not be inferred if there are no board member comments during this time. A total of 5 minutes will be allotted to each subject unless extended by the board president. After receiving testimony, the board may recommend placing such items on the agenda of a future meeting or referring the items to staff for a report. Now, I have 13 comment cards here. Given that it's 5 minutes per topic and they're all on the same topic, we're going to have to be a little bit flexible in this respect. So we'll do the same thing that we did the last time, which is about 3 minutes per individual, so that we can hear everybody, because we do want to hear you all. Again, as I have been given to say, and it was excellent the first time when we did agenda items. You were very respectful, very cooperative. We finished below the time limit that was there. So I hope that we can continue that at this time as well. So please be respectful of your comments, be collegial. Also be respectful of the individuals who are behind you, because there are individuals who want to speak, and if you eat your time, you're eating the time of someone else behind you. So please be aware of that fact. The first three individuals that I have here are individuals who came from far away, from what I understand. They are students in the California Community College's Student Senate, and I want to thank them for being here. I apologize if we had to put you at this point on the agenda. It's just that our student trustee is our student trustee, and as you know, on your campuses, you represent your students. And so you are here on a different item, so we will allow you that opportunity to discuss it at this point. And I know you want to address it from your perspectives as well. So I have Ryan Ahari, Rich Copenhagen, or Hagen, and Emily Kinner. And then following them, I will also have Rosny Hang, David Root, Andrea Donado, Morgan Bregdan, Kenneth Jones, Oliver Elder. Oliver, did you spoke earlier? Sounds familiar. Oh, his name was up, but was it wrong time? Okay. Morgan spoke already, did he not? Excuse me a second here. Thought I already named this. Yeah. Okay, Morgan's already in. Jason Adams, Michelle Garcia, and Kimberly Simmons. Those are the individuals that I have here. And again, 12 individuals, 3 minutes each. That would be, what, 30 minutes, approximately? 36 minutes, okay. So we have 36 minutes that we will dedicate to this topic. So let's start with Ryan.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Ryan Ahari. I held several positions. I'm the student trustee of the Rancho Santiago Community College District, and I'd like to make it clear that in this capacity, I am not reflecting any views of the board. I'm only reflecting my own. I'm also the communications officer of the California Community College Association of Student Trustees. I'm also the external affairs senator of Region 8 for the Student Senate of California Community Colleges. I'd like to introduce my colleagues in the audience. There are two in particular from Region 8. They are Colby Keogh, he is the chair, and there is Lena Harrigy. She is the governance and policy senator. I'd like to start by saying I do not agree with the program discontinuance. I have a short paragraph from our president of CAST. It has come to the attention of the California Community College Association of Student Trustees that your board recently cut 11 vocational programs from your curriculum, while your district has the highest amount left in reserves in Region 8. We appreciate the fact that you decided not to cut the diagnostic medical imaging program, but the other programs should have been given the same amount of consideration. This is our opposition to this decision. I'm opposed for a different reason. I'm opposed on the student trustee perspective. I feel as if there was not enough sunshine on that perspective. To clarify, the student trustee is not on the Long Beach City website. His photo's not there, his title's not there, his name's not there. If I were a student, I didn't even know I would have a student trustee. Second problem, he's not in the board photo. So therefore, it seems like he's not an equal. It seems like he perhaps is not seen as a member of the board. Another point, the student trustee was not given a chance to give a report at the second meeting. Once again, this might be a reflection that he is not seen as an equal of the board. It's true that the other trustees did not have a chance, but the student trustee should have given that decision so that it could help enable more discussion from his side. Another issue is that the student trustee seems like he was not invited into any of the budget discussions. Whether it be through the board or through committees, it seems like he was not consulted at all. The student trustee was lectured on his reports that he has to be given permission by associate student body to speak on their behalf when he's only speaking as student trustee. If he wants to speak on his own personal opinion, he would have to fill out a public comment card, and that seems rather redundant, seeing as how the position of student trustee is to speak for all of the students, and that's what he would be doing if he's giving his personal opinion. He'd be doing what he thinks is best for all of his students. Two other points. At this current meeting, the student trustee raised his hand. He wanted to say something regarding program discontinuance of the previous public comment, but he was told we're not going to talk about this anymore. He raised his hand indicating he'd like to participate, and he was shut down. And that's really unfortunate because that's seen as being silenced yet again. Because of these unjust practices, I'll wrap up my comments. Just because of these unjust practices, you now have 8 past and present student trustees representing more than 15 other community colleges to speak for your student trustee on your board, whom you have silenced. And the reason why we are here is because Martin Luther King said, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And we are here in solidarity. Thank you very much.
Good evening, trustees, members of the board.
Your name?
Administrators. I will get right to that. My name is Rich Copenhagen. I am the president of the Student Senate for California Community Colleges, which represents the 2.3 million students, or 2.4, hopefully it's not down to 2.3, 2.4 million students of the California Community College system. Trustee Otto, Superintendent President Oakley, it's good to see you guys again. I am here because I respect the Long Beach Community College District. I hear touted over and over again in Sacramento the wonderful things that this district does. And I'm here because I was asked by the leaders which this district produces, the leaders who come out of one of the premier institutions in the state, to come and speak with you and support them because they've felt disenfranchised by a process which has occurred over the last year. That process is the program discontinuance, which you've been hearing about all evening and talking about all evening. And I appreciate that you are taking the time to listen to all of the comments of members of the public right now and listening to me. Thank you. The board has a policy on program discontinuance which suggests that program discontinuance is specifically a process engaged in by administrators and by faculty. Now, I think that students should be included there. Actually, our Board of Governors has said that students must be involved in that process. There is a section of Title V, 51023.7, B5, which specifically states, as a college is going through program discontinuance, students must be involved in that process. And I'm here to ask this board to involve students in that process and reconsider the action taken based on limited input by your students. Students which the legislature has recognized as being important in those processes, as being key stakeholders, as being people that you don't want at your meeting here telling you that they were not involved at a later date simply because you neglected to involve them earlier. It is entirely possible that this last year, students could have been involved in this process and not been here today telling you that they were not involved in this process. They could be here today saying, we support Long Beach City College's long-term program goals for our students, if that is the case. And I appreciate the president's indication that this is not a political issue. I don't think it is, because if it was a political issue for me, I would not be here as the president of the statewide student senate. The board would not have gotten into a circumstance where I would need to be here. It would not be in a circumstance where the room is filled with people who are unhappy with this situation. And thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me. I appreciate it.
Good evening, President Oakley, members of the board, students, and members of the public. My name is Emily Kinner. I'm a student at De Anza College in Cupertino, California. I'm a student senator for the Student Senate for California Community Colleges. I'm the immediate past student trustee at the Foothill De Anza Community College District, and I am the immediate past president of the California Community College Association of Student Trustees. I traveled over 300 miles today to speak to the importance of program access for our students. I'm not an expert in aviation, automotive technology. I can't really even figure out how to take photos on my phone, so I know nothing about photography. But I do consider myself well-informed of the passions and drive of my students across the state. I was part of the effort, fighting right alongside your colleagues, your staff, your faculty, your administration, and students that led to the passing of Proposition 30, the temporary relief that we will all benefit from. I fought for Proposition 30, hoping for growth, but knowing realistically that it may just look like restoration. What I didn't imagine was that having this additional funding would warrant entire program cuts, such as what this district has gone through with recent actions taken. The students were instrumental in passing Proposition 30, and in your community, supported Proposition 30, expecting that programs would be protected and that the students would be involved in the discussions of continuing these programs, notably discussions about the programs that matter most to your students. You also have the authority to hear recommendations from your advisors and ask for alternatives, because you are the ultimate gatekeepers to who has access to your institution. So I'm here today asking you, please reassess your actions. And in my experience, students don't attend board meetings, but you have students from all over the state here that are going to feel the impact. And in item 9.1, if you want to know the impact on students, please listen to the students you have here today. Thank you.
Hello, as you all know, my name is Andrea Donado. Next to me is the ex-president of the SSCCC, Kevin Feliciano, who could not turn in his card. So, President Uranga and members of the board, with your permission, I would like to give my time to him.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Good evening, President and Superintendent Oakley, members of the board, and members of the college community. My name is Kevin Feliciano, and I am a student at Ohlone College and Chabot College in the San Francisco Bay Area. I am the immediate past student trustee for the Ohlone Community College District, the 2010-11 and founding president of the California Community College Association of Student Trustees, and the immediate past president for the Student Senate for California Community Colleges. I came to Long Beach from the San Francisco Bay Area today with my colleagues, President Copenhagen and past President Kinner, to witness your meeting. I am here to help empower the students in the process of college and district governance. On the policy level, I have read Board Policy 4024 on program establishment, modification, and discontinuance, and it makes no mention of student involvement. The California Code of Regulations, Title V, Section 51023.7a, states that the board shall adopt policies and procedures that provide students the opportunity to participate effectively in district and college governance. Section 51023.7b5 lists courses and programs of the establishment and or discontinued as an area of significant effect on students. If the data and research that your college and district have gathered shows that programs must be discontinued, including the students should not be an inconvenience in that process. As President Copenhagen did mention, these students will be happy to be a part of the process and will be happy to stand with you at the end if they're involved in the process from the very beginning. To the role of the student trustee, the role is to provide the student perspective in the decisions being made by the board. They serve as a non-voting advisory role to the board to the extent allowed by the Education Code, Section 72023.7. The board grants the student trustee an advisory vote according to your Board Policy 2005. How can the student trustee provide their advice and suggestion to the board during a vote if the vote is taken after the public members of the board? I urge you to look at your policies and procedures to reevaluate and revise the level students are involved in the governance of the college and district. I thank you for your time and listening to my comments.
Good evening, board members. My name is David Root, and I'm a student in the out-of-body program. I am also a 11-year combat veteran. I am also a cancer survivor. I'm here to speak to you tonight on behalf of the students that are enrolled in the trade programs. Many of you know that the PCC campus trade programs were built for returning veterans returning from war. Me being a veteran myself and also a cancer survivor, I'm looking towards the automotive trade programs, especially the auto-body program, to help retrain myself without the burden of the taxpayers to re-enter the workforce, because I was displaced from my normal occupation of working in the oil refineries due to being diagnosed with bladder cancer. I am utilizing GI Bill money that I have fought for this country. That money right there also helps fund programs that we have at our school. Fellow veterans that I do know that wish to attend to this school, wish to attend some of the trade programs I have, are not going to be able to have the same advantages that I've had. I understand that the DMI program was extended until 2014 to allow some of them students to also be able to complete their courses to enter the workforce. Knowing that we are in a deficit, I just humbly ask that if we could possibly reconsider doing the same courtesy for the rest of the programs in the trade courses, extend it to a certain amount of time to allow us that need only a few credits past what the summer session is going to allow us to complete, re-enter the workforce, and be able to become a productive member of society. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Kenneth Jones Club Senate Chair, and you know, I'm a little soft-spoken, but we'll get through that. Anyway, I also am a veteran, and me and David share the same problems. Both of us are cancer survivors, and we fight for what we believe in. And you know, every time I look at this mission statement, it makes me think. I'm like, it brings me back to the golf. I'm like, our mission was to do what we were for our country, and looks can be deceiving. So let me start off by saying I feel that, and this is not an attack on your character, but I feel that your integrity has not been genuine with the students in the community of the city of Long Beach. I once took an oath to protect this country. You swore an oath to do what is best for the students and the future students of Long Beach City College. I would like to say, you know, I heard your committee was biased and dishonest. I want you to prove them wrong. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Morgan Bragdon. I'm a new student at Long Beach City College, and I reviewed a lot of options, and I chose Long Beach City College because it's just a 2-year program. And as soon as I signed up, I have learned the decision is finalized to shut it all down. So I think the bare minimum would be to finish out the students that have already enrolled, that are doing well, that are getting good passing grades. And, you know, if it's possible at all, to find the money to keep these programs in the community, it's probably in the best interest of all of you. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Rosen Hing. I'm former ASB president. I'm here to speak as a student. Pretty much, I don't have to reiterate what my great peers and colleagues from up north who have traveled so far to come down here to tell you guys. So I'll make it clear and concise. Please reconsider your vote on the program discontinuance. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michelle Garcia. I'm a student of the Interior Design program, and I'm here to appeal the decision for the discontinuance of interior design based on the grounds that Long Beach City College is the only community college in this area that offers a green design certificate. I think it's great that President Oakley, you think that we should be preparing students for future jobs and employment in this region. In 2005, the green building industry was at about a $10 billion industry. Last year, it has grown to $58 billion. And the projection for 2016 is a $200 billion industry. Who's fulfilling this demand? There's going to be this demand. And I think the interior design program is preparing students for careers in this industry. You started evaluating this program, all these programs about a year ago. Our director, Juliana Edlund, has had these courses added to the curriculum for 4 years. And finally, last semester, the courses were approved. Introduction to Green Design. And this semester is the first semester of Introduction to LEED. LEED is Leaders in Energy and Environmental Design. Last semester, the first semester that the green class has been offered, the student, myself and several students have created a United States Green Building Council student club here at Long Beach City College. With that membership, we get resources to take the LEED exam and networking benefits. This semester, Juliana Edlon has partnered with the United States Green Building Council, which, by the way, is the national standard for green building, with the Community Green, which is a program that they offer community colleges that students receive resources to take the LEED exam. Not only that, through Community Green, there's been a grant through Bank of America that gives community colleges in California funds. Students will be able to take the LEED exam for free. That means that's a $200 exam. And we're going to get that. And I think it's a shame that you're cutting it off. You're cutting it. There's a demand. This industry is growing, and I don't think that it's the right decision to turn your back on this growing industry. You look at these beautiful buildings that you guys have built, and you're leaders in energy and innovative designs, and I think it's a shame. I think we really need to tap into this, and this is the future, and this is what the interior design program is preparing our students for. And I just request that you don't turn your back on that. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Simmons. I am also with the Interior Design Program. I am not here this evening to share facts. We all know the facts, even though some of us learn them much later than others. I'm here to talk to you as a student and from the heart. This is my last semester here. I will be transferring to Cal State Long Beach come the fall, and all I have to say is thank God. However, saying that, I am not a 19-year-old student. I am a 33-year-old student. I have been flirting around California's community colleges, and not until I arrived here in 2008 did I find a home. Unfortunately, for the newer students, they won't have that home in the interior design program anymore. They're being forced to transfer to other students, which means their dollars are also being transferred to other students. So I just hope that, I realize we're in almost a $4 million deficit. I realize probably come fall, that means math and science classes will be cut as well. But we need to think about, this is California, this is our home. What are we going to do for our students, for our children? I mean, I voted Prop 30, hoping that that would cushion my extenuation program here and for my fellow students. I took away dollars from my nieces and my nephews, the K through 12, to give those dollars to this program. And now it's disappeared. I don't know where those dollars went. And I don't know how to explain to future individuals who want to enroll in this program, it's no longer there. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Regina Ridley. I'm also an interior design student. I just would like to share the impact that the program is having on me being discontinued. We are frustrated. We are disappointed. We are overwhelmed. And we are confused. We've been to the workshops, the program continuating workshops, and they're still unclear. We're going to counseling appointments, and they're still not clear. We need answers. We're asking for your help. This is my passion. This is my life as an interior design student. And now the colleges that they're recommending are having an extenuating hardship on me financially. The convenience and the opportunity to come here. I work in Long Beach. I live in Long Beach and to go to school here is all being stripped away. The culture here now, we're feeling like we're not being cared about. We're feeling that we are not being heard. We're asking for your help. We're asking to extend the program, reconsider the impact that it's having on us. We're not asking that you change it overnight, but we're asking for immediate assistance in these decisions. We understand the budget. We understand the deficit. But don't forget about us. I don't meet the category to graduate in the summer. I still need more time. We still need more time. And that's all that we are asking. Give us more time and treat us with the respect and the dignity and the integrity that you will want your students, your children, your family to have. Please help us.
Thank you very much for all those comments, and believe me, we are listening, we are hearing you. We especially appreciate the time that you take from your personal lives, your long-distance travels to join us here today. We really appreciate that, we really do. And we really appreciate the fact that you were collegial, courteous, and well within the time limits that we had set forth. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Seeing no other items on the agenda, could I have a move to adjourn?
So moved.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.